So using my design from last week, I'm going to show you how to add images into your designs. So we're going to explore how you can combine text and image to make an album cover design. Remember that albums and CDs are square, so we should be using a square format. I've got two images here that I could possibly use, so I'm going to try with both. I'm just going to put this one here for now. So look at the size of it, consider how much space you want to be text and how much space you want to be image. Once you drag it in, obviously you can move it again later, but we'll put that in like that for now. And I will also add in the other image that I might use also, just to see what it's like with both. Remember, an artist will always explore various ideas to see what works and consider the possibilities. So I've just chosen two images, and I think I'll just leave all that there, and I will try to remove some of the background. If you can find images without any background on, then that's even better. So I'm just going to use the eyes on the layers to hide the layers so that I can see what I'm doing. Oh, I had an extra yaw there, I didn't know. Okay, so I'm going to work on this layer. To do anything to that layer, I need to be on it. So I'm going to try and rub out some of the background. So I've got a big rubber here, and I'm just using, I was trying to use my finger, it didn't work. Let's try and use my stylus. You can do it with the mouse, obviously, as well. I was just doing it with the mouse before. So I've got the stylus now, and I'm just going to use that to rub away some of this. I think it's, if you use a fuzzy rubber, then it's gonna be quite good because you can sort of make it look like it's blending with the other layers. Then just be careful not to remove any of your picture. So I'm just going to blend out the bottom so that the bottom's a bit less of a harsh edge. Okay, so I'm going to hide their faces, and I will move them. Oh, I need to get the move tool. So if we go on transform, you can move them to where you think they will look good in the picture. So I'm going to put them there in between the ink splats. Now remember, you can add blending modes to these. So I could, if I wanted to, apply a blending mode, which kind of merges them in a bit better. So this will apply effects to the image in terms of its colour and how it appears with the layers underneath. It will only make a big reaction to the layers underneath if there is colour there. If you've got a plain background, it's not really going to make any difference. So I quite liked it on darken. Now I'm going to bring back, I'm just going to click over here so I can see properly. I'm going to bring back the writing and see if I like it where it is. Now I think this dig is going to be too big and it's gone over his face. And the yaw, let's bring the yaw back. So the yaw soul looks pretty good. The out, can't see it. So I'm going to move the out and I will change. I don't think I want the darken on it, which I left on from last time. So let's try it as normal. That's better. Okay, so I am going to move the out so it's not on top of those people. So if I just drag it and move it, quite like that there. And then I'm going to change the size of this dig and put it over here, although it does look a bit far away from the out. So I'm going to move the out over. So it's all about playing around with what you started with. And if you need to do some more painting in the background, then just add You can see I've got my painted background here underneath. I could add more layers on top. So it's all about kind of moving it around and exploring. Each time you get an idea, you need to say save to device and call it something. So I could put layout image 1. Call it something that you'll recognise and just say save. Okay, so this time I'm going to hide that layer and bring this layer up. I'm going to try just adding a blending mode to see if it will get rid of the background, because sometimes it does. Yeah, you can see, look, the background disappeared on that blending mode. I quite like that. So just try different things out. I think maybe this is a bit too strong now, so I might bring the opacity down so that that layer's a bit more see-through. I don't think I like that it's behind his face, that splat. What you can actually do, I'll just show you something good. So you can make selections on layers. If I just show you, I'll use this rectangle tool and I will choose just him on his own. And then I can change him and nothing else on that layer. So if I go to transform, when I apply the transformation, it's just going to be to him and not to anything else because he was selected. So if I just do that, then that gives you possibilities for kind of changing within images. Although now look, it's gone over his face, which is not ideal, is it? So I wonder if I can do it a different way. I'll show you a different way then. So if we copy that layer, if we duplicate the layer, and then we make the selection. So if I go back and I get the rectangle tool and I will select him on this layer, and I'll do the same. So I'll make him bigger. Obviously I can see the layer underneath at the moment, which I'm going to have to remove later. So I'll say yes to that. And then if I go back on this layer, sorry, I've removed that layer. If I go back on this layer, I can use the selection tool to remove him. So if I select him and then I'm on the rubber, and then I rub him out, so he's gone from that layer. And then on this layer, which I'll show now, if I select the inverse, because at the minute I've got that space selected, so if I go to select the inverse, then I've got all the rest of it selected, and I can use the rubber to rub out the one that was on the other layer. Oops, remove some of his hair. So because I've not got the selection secured, I just need to be careful of what I'm removing here. Okay, so I'm going to deselect, and you can see now that he is on one layer and his brother is on the other layer. So that means I can apply different effects. So he's probably a bit too big. So if I go to transform and just shrink him a bit and move him over. Okay, so I can save that as another version. Obviously, you'll do your own experiments and see what you want to do. So if I go into here and then do layout version 2 and save. So I've got two different versions very quickly.